Hi, I'm Valerie Van Pelt, and I'm with a old friend of mine, Nino Arzon. My husband's one of his best friends. It's his brother, and Nino and Leo had called me to help them sell their parents' property. Their parents had kind of, I want to say, kind of. Both of them passed away kind of quickly, one after the other, so it was kind of a very unique situation. It kind of happened unexpectedly.
Within 2 weeks.
Within
Dad first at 96, mom at 95, but within 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's kind of an emotional, I would say, very emotional time. I don't think that you guys were kind of expecting the mom to pass away so quickly, right?
No, we knew she didn't have that long. We were thinking 6 to 8 months
Yeah,
is what we were thinking because we put her on palliative care
right.
initially. That was the thought.
Well, and so, I mean, I remember your brother calling me, and he was just devastated. I mean, it totally threw him for a loop. And I didn't talk to you as much in the beginning because he was the one that kind of referred me. I think he didn't really know what to do, and I didn't really get to talk to you. Like, what were you dealing with at the time, like when all this happened?
Yeah, well, my father passed away initially, and we weren't. I mean, he was 96, but
Right.
in good shape. But apparently, it was his time. He was having some issues, and we took him to the hospital, and I thought I would see him the next day, and I did see him the next day. But we got a call in the middle of the night from the hospital saying you need to come up and see your dad. He's not doing well.
Yeah.
And so I got there on 5 or 6 in the morning, and by 11 a.m. he was gone. And we knew they prepared me. They told me that we need to probably think about taking him off life support. He was on fluids and what have you. And his primary care physician came and said, it's his time. And so, okay, so I sat down in the room with him and grabbed his arm and asked him if he was okay. He goes, yeah. He just shook his head and said, yeah. And I didn't know he had passed. The nurses came in and said, let us check on your dad. And they came back out and said, he's gone. I said, okay. And again, he was 96. I think he had a good life. So I was emotionally prepared for it.
Right. How
My
did your
brother-
mom deal with it?
Well, we're Latin. Dad's Puerto Rican, mom's Dominican, and usually they go crazy. Well, when I went home, Leo and his wife were there, and we told mom what had happened, and she didn't freak out. She didn't get emotional. She just said, and I'll always remember that, said, enjoy the journey. That's what she said.
Good advice.
And we were all just shocked. And we just hung out all day. We just hung out with her. At that point, I got with my brother and said, okay, we got to plan this thing out now.
Yeah.
I had my dad's will and all that stuff. We all agreed ahead of time I would be the executor and
Right.
take care of everything. Leo and I already had a plan in place that no matter what, we take care of mom and dad first, everything else comes second. And so I needed some time to prepare
Right.
and to figure out what we're going to do with dad initially. And we did. I took care of that. We found he wanted to be cremated, and I already found a place, and they took care of that part. And
What about your mom, though? Was she able to kind of maintain things on her own at the apartment without your dad, or was she needing more care?
she needed more care. So my brother decided that he would stay there with her until we made a final decision of what we were going to do.
Right.
Leo had a bigger house at the time. I was living in an apartment with my wife, who at the time was coming into disability as well. And so we weren't sure how we were going to do it. In the end, it turned out that it was better for mom to come live with me and my wife. I was working remotely, so I could stay at home all the time, and I could help take care of her there. And I think I was better suited emotionally to do that with mom. And so we brought her over to my place. I had turned my office into her room, and she came over. And my wife was really great with her. And we took it one day at a time. I could tell mom was not happy, obviously.
Yeah.
She was dealing with dementia as well.
Right.
Kept asking for dad.
Yep.
Wanted to go home. I don't blame her.
Yep.
Got angry at me several times.
Yeah.
And it was just a one day at a time thing with her. Our next door neighbor was a hospice nurse, and she came over one day and took a look at mom, said, we need to talk. Said, your mom is on her way.
Really?
Yeah.
So she knew.
Monica said, your mom's on her way. I think we should at least start with palliative care. And so she worked at an amazing place. And they came out and they did an assessment on my mother. A nurse came out and assessed her. Then they came out again a couple of days later after they gotten her doctor's records. And they said, your mom doesn't need palliative care. She needs hospice. She's been losing weight. She doesn't want to eat anymore. She doesn't want to drink anymore. And Monica, our next door neighbor, volunteered to be my mother's hospice nurse. She lived next door, and she did an amazing job with Mom. And within a week and a half, Mom passed away quietly in bed. We were all there with her. They told us when it was going to happen.
Wow.
And it happened within 30 minutes of that time. And we were all there with her.
I guess she's seen it so much that she kind of can identify like that. I mean, I'm sure she kind of died of heartbreak too. I would think.
I should have showed you her death certificate. It was they put down it was a grief. The primary cause of death was grief.
Interesting.
And so it's heartbreak.
So now you've got to make plans for your mom, and then you've got the house, obviously, and you are the executors. Are you guys thinking maybe we'll rent out the place or keep I mean, was there a kind of question about what you should do, or?
I spoke to Leo, my brother, Leo, and we both agreed we should sell it.
Yeah.
And then we have an older brother as well in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
So I reached out to him, let him know what was going on. And he was like, I trust you. Do whatever you think is best. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about anything over here. So it's up to you guys. Whatever you guys decide, I'm with you. So we both decided we'd sell it. And Leo kind of trusted me with the executorship. So you do everything that you think you need to do on that side. I'll deal with the apartment, getting it cleaned up, getting the stuff sold, getting the stuff. He goes, I'll take care of all of that. You deal with selling it. You deal with any attorney, you deal with whatever. And that's how we did it. We split that up.
Split it up.
Yeah, I let him deal with all of that, make whatever decision you need to make. And then I took care of all the legal stuff and the tax
You're
stuff.
good with numbers too.
And the coordination. And so obviously we needed someone to help us sell the place. And so that's when I got your recommendation from Leo, which I'm happy I did.
Thank you.
And we reached out to you. And then it was also obvious that I needed an attorney to help me through the process. And you recommended someone, and he was amazing. And
I've used him too for my own
enjoyed
personal.
working with him so much.
He's such a professional.
He was, I don't know how I would have gotten through without David helping me out. He was just always there for me, no matter what. And he was amazing. So and also I had a great banker as well who helped me out with a lot of that part of it, setting up the tax IDs and the estate accounts for each my mother and my father. There was a lot of stuff I learned that I wasn't aware of that I needed to work with, and I was just lucky, blessed, whatever, that you came into the mix and that the attorney you recommended was in the mix because he seemed to be the right person at the right time, what I needed. And then the banker I had, he just said, don't worry about a thing, we're going to work this out. Was
the experience overwhelming, or did you feel like you had control over everything?
Initially, when I was looking at the big picture, it seemed overwhelming because I didn't know anything about estate,
like probate, what do you do?
All that stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware of all of that. Before your name came up, I already reached out to one attorney and they turned me down because City of Dallas takes so long for the probate process, and he wanted to retire.
Okay. He didn't want to wait.
And then when I told my brother, I said, yeah, I'm still looking. He's like, well, let's. I know Valerie, and she's amazing in Addison and done a lot of stuff. It's been, let's give her a call and see if we can get something going here. And that's when you came into the mix, and it was one of the best decisions we made during that process.
Thank you. Well, it was a unique situation, as I was talking to you earlier about, was it dealing with a family, and then you're dealing with the emotions of the family. They've just gone through, something like having both your parents die pretty much within 2 weeks. I mean, that's I can't even imagine losing both parents that quickly. But dealing with the house and a person, two people that have lived in the same house for 30 years.
At least. Yeah.
It was a kind of a different type of sell that I wasn't the same as the type of sales that I usually do or listings. There had to be a process that went with it, and luckily at the time my husband was not working, and he loves projects. He loves making homes look nice and caulking and painting and touching up, and he's kind of a perfectionist. And I was just like, John, can you go help Leo and Nino? Because I just thought it's expensive. And I knew that, I wanted to make sure that you guys got as much money, as you could from the sale. And John wasn't working. And it was like, and he likes to do it. He's a true servant. And so I just kind of sent him over there and let him kind of figure out. So that was real important. The second thing was, we changed the carpet out. And I think that, I think you'll agree, like it really
made a huge difference.
It did. And that place, it was a perfect clean slate for someone to come in. And, we got a young girl that bought it that was a school teacher in the Park Cities area. And it was really a kind of a cool situation because all the bills were paid, and, we were able to sell it pretty quickly and get it done. But I know it was a learning experience for me, and I kind of have used you guys as my model because after that happened, it seemed like I had 8 or 9 of those type of situations back to back. And yours really taught me how to deal with a home that's been lived in for a while and trying to get it cleaned up and those type of things.
Yeah, well, your husband was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
He did such a great job over there, and he helped keep my brother grounded.
Yes.
When he was not having a hard time staying grounded.
Yeah.
But I think he helped out a lot. But he did such a great job, and every time I saw him out there, he had such a wonderful attitude, and he was always willing to help, and I appreciate him so much for doing that.
Thank you.
And so, I would have loved to. I mean, I would have considered buying the place myself.
Yeah.
It was really a nice mid-modern century building, and I've seen what other people have done in that complex when they purchased their condos. They actually took advantage of the mid-century vibe, and those places really look good, and it was a great location.
You can do a lot with those places too.
Yeah, you can.
Well, so at what point did you feel like things were going in the right direction? Because I know at first, the overwhelming of the emotions, there's kind of a lot of different stages you go through. At what point did you were like, okay, we got this?
Well, the initial challenge was really with the probate process.
Yeah, it took a while.
I felt comfortable with you after our initial discussion, but there were a lot of variables that popped up after I spoke with the attorney that I needed to take care of. Once I started putting a plan together, because I approached it as a project with MS Project and putting down the different milestones and where we need to go, what we need to do, how we need to do it, the court dates, the probate pieces, the notice to creditors, the testamentary, all of that, all of those variables needed to be addressed and handled by me. And again, at the same time, I was also working my full-time job. So there was a lot going on, and the attorney helped out a lot, advised me a lot on what I needed to do and how I needed to do it. Once that was in place,
the probate
side was in place, and we were waiting for a court date. I was able to have some breathing room, and I think at that point you were working your angle, and Leo and John were working on the condo, and just things started just moving with its own momentum.
Right.
At that point, I felt comfortable.
How long? I can't remember. How long did the probate take? Was it about 8 or 9 months?
Yeah, it was. I started the paperwork on the probate November of 22.
Right.
And I think we finished.
May of 20.
No, it was August.
Was it August?
It was August. It was August because then August or September, because then I had to wait 3 additional months.
That's right.
For the creditors.
Till November, December.
Yeah, December 19th was the time cutoff for the outstanding creditors to come and try to make a claim against my father, my
Yeah.
mother and father's estate.
Right. And that's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
Or were you okay with that?
No, I was okay with that.
Okay.
I already had a game plan, and you can only get so much, you know.
Right. Did anybody come forward at that point during that 3 or 4 months?
I got one creditor that came.
Oh, so you
up to
did
the
have a
plate.
creditor.
I had one, and I had several before that, and we managed to either negotiate something down, or most of the time when I told them that they both passed away and now we're going through the probate process, most
They're
of them
kinda
just said just wrote it off.
That's kind of stressful, though. I mean, in my mind, thinking of like who's coming forth here, like because you don't really know all the affairs of your
No.
parents. You don't
Right.
know, you know. I mean, my dad doesn't tell me about his finances.
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I had to figure a lot of that because my
Yeah.
father was very private about that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had one come along, and it was really not even for that much. It was like $1,800. And I told them what happened, and they came back and said, well, you know, we could settle. And it's like, I'll give you $500. And then they took it, and I said,
All right.
"Thank you." I just wasn't in the mood to argue or haggle. It is what it is, you know. It is a debt.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a problem with that. But then after that, that was it.
Yeah.
At that point, I went back to the attorney and said, what do I need to do now? If anything, he said, no, you've met your legal obligations all the way around, including all the taxes, what have you. I had a tax person that I worked with that my brother-in-law hooked me up with. And at that point, we were.
And then you can move on with your life.
At that point, then that's when you kind of move on and get on with life. But you know, my brother and I both agree that you know, my parents passing, even though it's sad, but they were 96, 95. They had a long life. They were happy. They didn't have much, but they were happy.
Yeah, that's what counts.
And when I spoke to my brother, it's bittersweet. I mean, bitter obviously because they're gone, and we love them very much. But sweet because they had a long and happy life together, and it's just part of life. It's
circle of life, right? Yeah, I know.
How can you? And this is what I ask people: how can you grieve a couple that have been happy all their lives? And passed away in their late 90s.
Together.
It's more of a celebration.
Yeah.
And so.
In a way, it was kind of a happy ending.
It was okay. I mean, there are some people that struggle at the end of their lives for years in sickness and suffer, and my parents never went through that. My father, that morning, the morning before he went to the hospital, he was out running around doing his thing, and my mom was at home doing her thing.
In a way, you guys were kind of lucky because it wasn't drawn out.
It was not. It was very quick.
Your mom didn't have to, you know, I'm sure she was initially the loss of your dad, but then within a couple weeks, she was gone and she was with your dad. And it's like, I mean, it's hard for the people that they leave behind. It's harder for us.
Exactly.
You know, but for them, it's like, you know, more power to you. You guys are back together again, and you're probably I mean, you were happy here. Can you imagine how happy they are in heaven, you know?
I wish I go the way they went.
Me too. I don't want to go, you know, I don't want to have to like have a long drawn out, you know, and put pressure on my family and all that.
I don't know what they did, but they did it the right way, I imagine. Again, I don't want to see them gone. I wish they were still here. You know, more power to them.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me about it.
Sure.
I never have really sat down with you and, you know, really understood the whole, you know, we talked over the phone, but we never talked really in person. So thank you. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm always willing to talk about my parents.
Aw, well, it's good to see you.
Thank you very much. I'll see you again.
Oh, thank you. Well, I guess we're done. Did you take notes?
I was listening the whole time.
You were? Oh, that's cool.
Did you press record?
Oh, shoot. It's amazing what his
Conversation.
Especially because I liked it.
Want to add, like, we're talking about life or anything, like what's new in life right now, or just what's going on, or maybe kind of like the dreamland of like you guys talked a lot about what's going on in here and stuff, and like how life could be really good. You guys covered all that.
I mean, I felt like he really.
I'm always just making sure.
No, I'm.
I think I heard everything, but basically.
I mean, because he was saying, you know, like, I mean, really, I mean. If I'm gonna look back at the situation, my husband was really, I hate to, he really made the whole thing much easier. It was him, and taking that weight off of them to have to hire. I mean, if they would have had to hire a handyman, it would have cost so much money, and we don't know the timeliness of it.
Yeah, you never know with contractors.
And also, his brother was very stressed. John has a way of
Keeping him grounded.
keeping Leo grounded at that time.
Yeah, I was having a hard time with Leo, actually.
I know.
He was doing what he's supposed to do, but in between I don't know what was going on with him.
Well, I think that he was also going through his own issues with his wife.
Again, I had never heard of any issues with
We
her.
did.
Oh, did you really?
We did.
I never did